Good evening, distinguished guests, respected colleagues, and participants joining us from around the world. Assalamu alaikum. It is my privilege to welcome you to BEAWorld webinar session number 75, organized by Bangladeshi engineers and architects worldwide. I am Engineer Mridul Hasan PEng, serving you as moderator of today's session. I currently hold the position of Head of Water Resource Department and Lead Structural Engineer at EQMS Consulting Limited. And I am also engaged in as an assistant professor and adjunct faculty of Department of Architecture at Southeast University. On behalf of BEAWorld, I extend my sincere appreciation to all attendants for your presence and interest in today's important discussion. Today's webinar addressed as a topic of significant importance, understanding disaster risk from historical and contemporary earthquake hazard in Bangladesh. While Bangladesh is not traditionally categorized among the most seismically active region, growing evidence indicates that the country faces considerable earthquake risk due to its tectonic setting, high population density, and rapid urban development. A comprehensive understanding of both historical seismic events and contemporary hazard assessment is essential for informed engineering practice, sustainable urban planning, effective policy formulation, and resilient infrastructure development. This session aims to provide valuable insight into these critical dimensions. This is now my distinct honor to introduce our keynote speaker, Professor Dr. Edris Alam. Professor Alam is a professional integrated emerging management as the Faculty of Resilience, Rabdan Academy, Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates. He is internationally recognized and ranked among the top of 2% scientific globally, based on a citation-based evidence and evaluation conducted by Stanford University in collaboration with Engr. Dr. Alam has an extensive academic and professional background, having studied and worked in Bangladesh, Australia, United Kingdom, and UAE. And he earned his PhD in disaster risk reduction from University of New South Wales, Australia. Throughout his distinguished career, he has secured competitive research funding from leading organizations including UNDP and BFID. Served as consultant to government agencies, NGOs, and international organizations, made suitable contribution to the field of disaster risk reduction and resilience planning. We are truly honored to have him with us today. Without further delay, I would like to invite Professor Dr. Edris Alam to deliver his presentation. Professor Alam, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your presentation about me, and I really appreciate the engineer and architects Bangladeshi group, global networks, inviting me and giving me opportunity to talk about the earthquake risks in Bangladesh. You introduced me. Thank you very much. Let me introduce a little bit Priya Kundu, my research assistant from University of Dhaka and the Disaster and Development Organization, which is a national NGO in Bangladesh. I founded in 2008. So let me start. I think Priya is here. Am I right, Priya?
Yes, sir, I'm here. I'm hearing
Okay.
you also.
Okay. Priya also contributed to these presentations because this is our new work we expect to extend to the community level. So little bit, I think I should talk about the start before presentations. You all are engineers, civil engineers, architects. We are social scientists. We are geographer. We are disaster risk reduction, psychologists, public administration, sociologist background. So we'll be more talking about from the historical, social, administrative and political dimensions. So let me start. So today's presentation, I will talk a little bit about disasters in Bangladesh. What's the most disasters in Bangladesh, and little bit about earthquake generations and tectonic settings. Why the broadly in which tectonics environment Bangladesh located, and how Bangladesh is vulnerable to earthquake, and earthquake seismic sources. What are the fault are within in Bangladesh and adjacent Bangladesh cause us to consider. I did my portion of my PhD on the historic earthquake, like 1762, just after the 5 years after the British took over the subcontinent. So 1757 they took over, and 5 years after there's a big earthquake in Bangladesh. We have a case study on that, so we talk about that earthquake and other earthquake and some recent earthquake to see, as our presenter already said, Bangladesh does not have the recent big memory for the earthquake because our all disaster risk management practices, policies, improvement, it's not only in Bangladesh, in everywhere in the world, so everything depend on the hazard profile, disaster profile. That means if there is something hazard 10, 20 years, 30 years, then the people consider. So Bangladesh has a way of ignoring earthquake. So we'll talk about that. And then effects of earthquake, what could happen in Bangladesh context, and what could be the risk reduction strategies. And following this, to refresh what happened actually following, 2005 nourishing the earthquake, we talk about this, and then we give some future insight. I hope we all be on me. So in a word, Bangladesh is a country who is 97% of our land and 100% of population are at risk from disasters. In Bangladesh, nobody can say in this land area is not affected, is not, will not be affected any kind of, disasters. Our all population in this way or that way, I used to say sometimes our friends and the colleague from Gulshan Banani, they used to say they are in safe land, more luxurious, more, better place. But if you see compared to the even a river bank, river erosion area or a cyclone area or a flood area, uh, Dhaka people like Banani Gulshan, they face more risks from the fire, from the earthquake. So we have that's how we can say 100% of our population, where either it's a very low area or high area, very rich area or poor area, doesn't matter. In another word, we say except volcano, active volcano, we have all kind of hazards which cause disasters. So as I said before, we are experienced on recent hazards which cause disasters, which like hurricane, cyclone, floods, and then we have developed fantastic response, preparedness and response mechanism for that. But if we consider about the earthquake, the interval of earthquake is really long in the regions, and that is normal because recurrence interval for an earthquake could be 100 years, 200 years, even 500 years. So you should not have the recent memory. That's why we give the title historical earthquake. We have to learn from history. So giving that example, I'm giving you two earthquake which caused, who is located even in Bangladesh, originated from Bangladesh, caused significant damage. The number one, I said before, 1762 Arakan earthquake, 8.7 magnitudes. That's also named as Chattogram earthquake, Chittagong earthquake. If you, some of you might have heard about this earthquake. Second one is 1885 Bengal earthquake, also originated within Bangladesh. Now, recently, the most damaging one is the Norsingdi one, the 10 people dead, and the huge panic fractures, liquefactions, some cases, physical impact on our lands. We have already have recent memory. So now we cannot say we don't have the memory. To be honest, we have a recent memory from small event, but nourishing the earthquake. So let's start. So this is the disaster profile in Bangladesh. So what is earthquake? I would not go in details. Earthquakes involve the powerful movement of rocks that's in the earth crust. The rapid release of energy creates seismic waves that travel through the earth. Most earthquakes are produced sudden slip between slip movement among the fault. They occur when rock on both sides of the fault is slowly bent over many years by tectonic forces. So this is something we don't see, but geologists, seismologists, and some observatory, they can see that what's happening underneath the earth. That's why I would quote one of the geology professor when they talk. They say, you see the community business in front of you, the way you understand. As a geologist, we see what's happening underneath the Bengal Delta, underneath the and adjacent to the Bangladesh where the earth movement. They can see it, they can feel it by their heart. So Bangladesh located in three major tectonic plates. If we remember geography knowledge in our school, Gondwana, the major plates in the world, the earth, with some major plates. So among these, Eurasian plate, Indian plate, and Burmese plate is very important. Importantly, if I summarize this about these plates, why important? At the moment, all seismic evidence, all geologists, all observations is very much, agreed with one point that Indian plate subducting in a convergence zones of the Eurasian plate and little Burmese plate. So that's what happening. That's what about the last 100 years, 200 years, what about the major earthquake we see in Bangladesh and adjacent to Bangladesh. For earthquake, actually, this is the regional phenomena. We cannot only talk about Bangladesh. We have to go to the fault, which is located in Indian Oceans, located in Burma, located in India. So it's a regional issues. Does not maintain any boundary. So Bangladesh is very much in a locations in the Bengal data in a position where at the moment Eurasian Indian plate subducting through the underneath the Eurasian plate. So here are the major seismic sources in kind of fault. If you say, before we talk about the big plate, now we're talking narrow down, we're going to the fault. What are the fault where the earthquake can happen in Bangladesh? We have 7 major fault. Number 1 is the Assam fault zone, where 1897 earthquake originated. And to be honest, that earthquake is one of the world's biggest mega earthquake. It impacted entire subcontinent. If I can develop a map, you'll see how big impact. But only thing challenge is 1897 time and the current time is really different, because at that time there was not many population, not many buildings. But if I told you about the building, when I talk about building, I should tell one thing. Simply word, earthquake does not kill people. A building kill people. So it's really important, because we have buildings now. We have a modern life. We have the 10, 20 floor building in many our regional cities, in Dhaka many. So even Assam fault zone is also important for us. That's why. So 1897 was the biggest earthquake in our memory in the region. That's called great earthquake. So that term makes sense, when you say mega great. Dauki fault zones, it's very in the border, in the boundary of the Mymensingh regions, Dauki fault. And that's why Mymensingh and Sylhet, that part of the region, we call more earthquake prone in Bangladesh because of the location of this fault. And 1845 and 1918 earthquake occurred there. Then come to the Madhupur fault, is located within Bangladesh, and so there is some earthquake, small earthquake occur in that from that region as well. Plate boundary fault 2 is also significant for the earthquake coming from the Myanmar regions, from that regions. Then come to the Bogra fault zones, where 1885 earthquake, the one I talked before, also occurred from that zone. Then Tripura fault zone is located in the eastern regions, where earthquake from the Myanmar sources and adjacent Tripura sources can occur. So these are the 6 major fault name you can understand. Now move to the little bit more data. Whenever we see the data, we see more sensitized to the more aware about that. So from this fault zone, there is a maximum credential magnitude earthquake occurrence possibility. Like from Assam is 8.7, the one I said before, occur from 1897, 8.7 magnitude earthquake. Dauki is 6.5 maximum. Madhupur 7.5. Plate boundary fault to 9 possibility, because that's the major plate boundary. That's the more energy, more movement. Bogra fault zone is a 7.5, and Tripura fault zone it could be half and 8.0 magnitudes. I can little bit escape this one. So these are the fault zone locations with relation to Bangladesh, where if you see Assam fault zones, Dauki fault zones, Madhupur fault zones, something like this, and Burmese range, where the earthquake can happen. So here is the Arakan subduction zone. We talk about the Arakan subduction zone more in our case study about the 1762 earthquake, which happened in Chittagong. That's very interesting case study we can learn. Now, the challenge for us from the geological evidence, there is a 3 area where USGS and the geoscientists from US in collaboration with the Department of Geology in Dhaka, from the University of Dhaka, agreed 3 area where energy gaining to make big explosions. Number 1 in the around the Dauki, which is important for us. Number 2 is the Arakan subduction zone, and number 3 is the Sunda subduction zones. And there's part of the northern part of the Sunda subduction zone. It's in the Andaman Nicobar regions. So that's the 3 area we should consider now. From this area, earthquake can happen, and in the first within say 100 years, 200 years, 300 years, earthquake occur from these sources. So more about earthquake, because as I said before, we don't see bigger earthquake in the recent memory, except for us, some of us only the Norshingdi. So, but I go through more in details of the historic earthquake. You see, we have some more earthquake in the last 20, 30, 40 years. If you go back to history, for earthquake, as I said before, you cannot think of like Ghurnizhor or Plat Bunya. We cannot think like that. Earthquake has to go bigger. So in Bangladesh, we have a 1548 earthquake affecting in Bangladesh. 1762, we have big earthquake. Death at that time 200. We have to multiple that is now maybe 1000 times or more. 1985 Bengal earthquake, and then 1897 Great Indian earthquake, and 1934 Bihar Nepal earthquake. So these are the then coming to the 2005. I don't want to read every earthquake name. So coming to 2005 to 2025, last year November 21st November, Norsing the earthquake. These are the so these are the earthquake caused death and injuries in the country with significant effects. Here are some more location of the earthquake occurrence from 1900 to 2024. And then next slide is a more deep history, as I said before, from 810 before Christ to 1900. As I said, there was earthquake all the time in the past. How do we record this earthquake from the historical earthquake? We often get this from the description of the different historian, discussion from the different administrative people who was governor there. They write about the shaking they face. From that, we have a compilation of the earthquake in our department, in our organization, and some other places. So we have also, as you see, before 1900 to the recorded period of history or anything we can extract from the history. We have the earthquake history in the region. Now I will go to the case study 1762 earthquake. Was part of my higher studies. I went to the understand because 1762 earthquake was happened, as I said before, just after 5 years of the Falashi fall down. The Falashi 1757, but 1757, just 5 years before the British took over the regions. That times the earthquake description written by the British administrator, Barons and others, was not much clearly explained in the modern language. So at that time, English as well typing, the script was not good enough. So we took the special help to understand what is written about that earthquake from the University of New South Wales, Australia, and then we extract that in a modern language, language and the terminology, and the explain what actually explain what damage happened, what is the reaction happened in the regions. So from that, taking that old script, I managed to get that old script from the British Library in London, and then we translate that and follow the description. I visited, I could visit the location in Bangladesh. It's very familiar name. It was not written well in the old text, but with the help of the script writer, we can translate that in a modern terms and can follow each area where they said the earthquake occurred. So we did a verification, like they say Akilpur in a adjacent to the Bay of Bengal, there is some mud building in Chittagong was breakdown. So Akilpur is a region in a coast of Bay of Bengal. Now we asked in Chittagong, where is the Akilpur in Chittagong? Along the Bay of Bengal coast, and we find it. If you see, Akilpur is a location in Chitakundo, is just after the Bangladesh Military Academy from that side. So we can identify that way. Some other location like Suabil, if someone from Hatajari, and the Patiksari, along the Halda River, Suabil. So there's some effects in the river. So we can identify what they said. Locations and the effects. It's kind of, it's not a story, it's a real description of the earthquake. Like this way, we have some other areas. I go through more details, just saying the methodology, how we study 1762 earthquake to understand the earthquake risk in the region. So if you think about 1762, nearly 270, 80 years before, the effects is that level. Now we need to think about the current level of the population, current level of the housing, infrastructure, critical infrastructure, what could happen now. So these are the methodology. Let's go. So here the more clear location, the 1762 earthquake, it shaked almost, from Kolkata to, the Myanmar, broad regions and up to Dhaka. So Kolkata, Dhaka, and Bagu, and if you remember the Arakan region where the Myanmar people come, Rohingya people comes, Ramni, Paul. So along the coast, there is some island also affected. The most important, the most damage happened in Chittagong. So if you see the damage location in Chittagong and along some water and some impact, the Bengal Delta is a low uncompacted soil. Somewhere we see some impact in the Noakhali and Lakhimpur region as well. So the sources, as I mentioned it before, 1762 earthquake happened. Gulistan, Hirst, and Barrels. These are the three gentlemen was the, at that time, Chittagong administrator. So they provided written report to the Queen because there was too much panic. What's happened in the region about the, always the government people think about their job and sustainability of the region. There was panic because they not in Britain, they not used to see this kind of shaking ever. And that's also new in the region in Bengal data. So they give a condition report like the now DC give this to the cabinet division or prime minister office like that. They send the report to the British emperor about 1762 earthquake. So more details specifically here is the categorization of the impact to sensitize you. A little bit tell you what could happen, what happened at that time. Liquefaction and compactions. So whenever it says liquefaction and compactions, it was because it's a true description. It was a genuine description. We see liquefaction and compaction can happen not in a solid in a hill region. It could happen on the bank of the rivers on the coast, and we see that those names given liquefaction and compactions, they use different terms. We see that's happened in Chittagong region, some areas. We give more, locations there. If you see there, Akilpur, Burumchara, Bahatchara, 1, 2 Bahatchara. This is in Bahatchara is in Anwara somewhere location. Bazalia, it's a Shatkariya regions. Chittagong city, they say Dohazari, they say Pathorgata. Exactly, we can find all the locations they describe. Lakhimpur, Sitakundo, Suabil, Kornofuli rivers. So these are the location we identify specifically, and the types of effects happens as I was talking about the effects, liquefaction and compactions, local tsunami. This is the important things because many of you think Bangladesh is the Bay of Bengal, and do we face tsunami in the region? Bangladesh tsunami hobe kina? What can happen if tsunami happen? Because our low-lying delta, we have too many populations, we have the fragile infrastructures, and we are a exposed coast, huge exposed coast to the Bay of Bengal. So in summary, if you see the term say local tsunami, so we might not face, it's a big theory, we need to more time on that. I'll not go for details of the hypothesis and the validation of that things, but I can tell you in summary, Bangladesh, we cannot say not tsunami happen. It is likely to occur tsunami, but it could be local tsunami, not big one. But even local tsunami can make lots of impact in the region, because if an island area, some area got subducted, go down, and the water comes, it could make lots of impact. When the submersion happened to the we don't know. I could not do verification of the. Some people say Shondip and the Chittagong was part together, and there was something happened before. Who knows in details? It maybe part of the island can go to the earthquake. It happened in many countries in the world in the similar regions, part of the Bay of Bengal, and then landslide could happen at that time. Subsidence can happen in in riverbank or low uncompacted area. And mud volcano, Sitagundu, if you go to the Sitagundu, there was a mud volcano. In the Sitagundu is not a like other kind of volcano. That's mud volcano also verified by geologists in Dhaka University. They also study separately on the mud volcano. They also confirm that's happened in possibly the link that to the 1762 earthquake. And the rivers could happen many things, ceases in across the region. If you remember 2004 Indonesian tsunami, I believe those of you who are in Bangladesh or hear the stories, lots of rivers and the fonts, fish come out from the font, and the river go up and down. So this was a 1762 like earthquake happened in 270 years before. The impact, as always, you have to think about the current infrastructure, population, and things like this. Now is more location sensitizing compact flooding. You see the flooding, whenever they say flooding, it happened along the river or coast. Whenever they say the liquefactions and the compactions, these are the locations where they describe the liquefaction and compactions. I went to the some more details to see Kondofuli rivers where they say Kodala regions along the Kondofuli rivers. It's within the Boalkhali area along the Kondofuli river. We find the Kodala, and they have because the British people was interested about the tea. There is a tea estate there. Whatever they describe, the tea estate manager, what they written to the Chittagong district governor, we find that exactly same thing, same locations. I personally went there, and I talked, if you remember, a little bit about the Akilpur along the Sitagundu coast. I visited there. Don't misunderstood me. This is not. This is present fixers, but we see whatever they say along the Akilpur somewhere. There is a local. They say the water like the knee kind of height. So that means knee kind of water can come from the from the Bay of Bengal if local tsunami happen, and that times some mud building collapse because of the water in the height of the knee in the house. And wherever they say about the Buram Sara, if you see the Google map here, it's in Anwara. The Buram Sara is, they say, oxbow like kind of area where the some people was in the river boat and they fell down, they died, something like this. So these are the some make sense of the historical evidence, how you can verify based in your local knowledge using appropriate visit and the terminology. Here is more the impact and the description, whatever they said about these locations. They said about the river bank along the Pathargata in Howla, and we went to the Howla on the bank of the Kondofuli river. We find the location and description accurate. Suabil on the Halda River, a liquefaction compaction of the lowlands. We also see where they describe through the Google map. We can exactly see that it can look like true. There are some other areas, Burumsara in Shangu rivers, and Kodala on the along the Kondofuli rivers. So now here is the isoseismal map. So these are the areas having the high impact from the 1762 earthquake. This is the moderate impact area in Bangladesh. This is very moderate, and this is the low area. Even in Dhaka, at that times, we see the description of from Dhaka. In some areas, the river dried off. And this is one of the impact could happen because Bangladesh has lots of rivers and the water bodies. So they say water go up and down somewhere. The people can catch the fish. That kind of discussions we read from the historical documents. Now come a little bit to the modern period. We coming to our time period, like 1997. I know many of you remember from Chittagong people, if you hear. 2 floor of the 5-story house in Hamjarbagh. If you see that this is the 5-story house, 1, 2, 3 story you can see up. The remaining 2 stories go down underneath. It's Hamjarbagh. It's not many long history. I was remember at that time. I was maybe what time I could be that time. Yeah, called university first year, 1997, second year something, first year finishing something. So I was aware of this earthquake and the huge media news, the research done, photograph taken by Professor Aftab Alam Khan. If you remember, Aftab Alam is a geologist at Dhaka University, 2004. Here is the one, it's kind of contemporary earthquake we're talking about now, 1999, Maheshkhali earthquake. Same, I remember about this earthquake, and people from BEAWorld, Professor Mehdi Ahmed Ansari, his team went to see the impact of earthquake, cracks in the Maheshkhali. If you go Maheshkhali, lots of mud building there, and the cracks in hilltops. There's a hilly region. This is within our memory. Now, it's a very important slide. Now, we're talking about what kind of impacts in Bangladesh. I know all of you in recent earthquake, we have a social media. I see many, we don't need to talk about the risk reduction. Many people make so many video from the nourishing the earthquake. Um, so they make the lots of funny video. There's some, not truth, but some actually have some good contents. So number one, house crack could happen, building collapse, building cracks and something like that, or house cracks. The building collapse, liquefaction of soil, seismic ceases in the waters, blocking of river. It could happen. Some river could be blocked, and some river could be dried up. Compaction and subsidence along the rivers along the Bay of Bengal coast. River could be dried off, fractures in ground. You can see fracture. We see many fractures in ground later from the nourishing the earthquake events. The fractures in ground and ground fissures, landslide, river course change. In my mentioning, one of the old Brahmaputra and new Brahmaputra, the old Brahmaputra changed the river course from, I think, one of the earthquake before, possibly 1885 earthquake, and rise of water, and also not only go down, sometimes land can go up as well, like the volcano can uplift the like hill kind of things can happen. So these are the types of the considering Bengal data. Could be more. This is something I identified. I identified through how I compile the effects from 80 earthquake, and then I make a tally what could happen. So from 80 earthquake, these are the findings I find. House cracks and the liquefaction in soil. Number two, and the suspect ceases. Uplift one, because only one earthquake make the uplift. That is, I think, 1762 earthquake. Yeah, otherwise no. So I try to make a map from this 80 earthquake. We're challenging the zone currently. Before it was only nourishing the end. Sylhet was the high risk zone. So through the 80 earthquake, we can categorize a bit more details by district wise. Which area could be the high risk? You see the red one, dark red is 8.6 to 9.5 in the Bandarban, and the Kishorganj, Mymensingh, Sunamganj, Srimongol, that kind of area. So there is the other area. Dhaka, unfortunately, because with the previous from 810 to before Christ to 2012, from that earthquake, Dhaka is not in the high, but we always talk about Dhaka to be high. But I think if we make this separate, only taking the recent one and nourishing the earthquake could make Dhaka a little bit higher, grading, higher risk zone. Because Dhaka is important and in a Bangladesh earthquake context. So this is something what to do. What we said lots about the historical earthquake impacts and fault sources. You all, I think, not in a way. I think all of you know, you very much matured, graduated people, all engineer here, and so I can actually go quickly this one. Staying calm, and if you are indoors, take shelter under a sorry, strong table, desk, bed. Also, if you inside, turning off the gas, we don't know, and take shelter near to the beams, columns, and pillars. Can I just check? Everybody is hearing me? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So before, if you are in office, just turn off the gas, electricity, and water connections. Stay out from the balconies, barandas, windows. We all talking about this right now from a different disaster context. Glass panel, cupboards, mirrors, hanging objects, and anything that may fail. I try to be honest, in my room I don't keep anything on hanging. Although our always female, our better half try to make the house nice, making something hanging. I always try to avoid inside my room, in my personal room at least. If you are in an education institute during an earthquake, students should cover their heads with the school bags and take shelter underneath the desks or tables. If you are outside, stay away from trees, tall buildings, electric poles, and telephone wires, and take shelter in an open space than buildings. If you are in a garment factory, because it's actually make for the all communities. Do not rush. And in the ground garments and the big market cinemas, most of the people actually not injuries and that don't happen from the earthquake. Sometimes people fell down one or over another people. That's could happen. So don't rush towards exit. Even during earthquake, one line through the discussion of many evacuation scientists, we confirm that during earthquake, allowing people to go outside is not a good way. To be safe, first check, you see, we have to be inside. We don't take if you are a level 1, if you are a level 2 and can possibly, you can move quickly, is okay. Otherwise, in a tall building, better to be inside in a strong area. Okay, to protect your head and face to avoid dust and sand entering your eyes, nose, and mouth. If you are in an office or elevator, get out as soon as possible. Elevator is very dangerous during earthquake on the lift or elevator. We should not be trying to get wherever. If you see any shake, just try to see open, just run out. If you are upper stair, do not use the stair or elevator during shaking. After it stop, exit carefully. After stop, it's allowed, even not to the lift, because at that time it could crack. That's why we not allow. We don't suggest to to go to the lift. Or if you are near the sea or river, feel strong shaking, move quickly to the higher ground. If you are in a vehicle, stop the vehicle from the bridge, flyovers, buildings, electric lines. Stay inside until shaking stops. Keep an emergency bag ready with the items: radio, torchlight, whistle, helmet, dry food, basic first aid supplies. Do not spread rumors. Write down and display emergency phone number. And follow instruction from authorities during any disasters, including earthquake, not the instruction from the social media or someone. Oh, this is the one is the kind of we should consider now. What can happen in Bangladesh? How many population can be affected? The number of death, the number of potential damage, including buildings. So if 6, we know that's 5. Kind of nursing the earthquake give us the one hints because it was nearly 4.9, I think. What can happen? And that's what they said. If it was little bit more, 6, the buildings could damage 10,000 to 25,000. Populations could be 0.3 million to 0.8 million. Death could be 50 to 300, and the potential damage is maximum of 1.5 billion. And there is some others, 7, 8, 9. And in case of 9, it could be catastrophic in the regions, maybe 5 lakh plus, maybe more. Buildings. The population death could be 10 plus millions. 9 earthquake happened in the Bangladesh regions. Particularly, it's come from the Dauki or the Assam or Arakan subduction. Arakan is we call Arakan subduction, but it's a part of the Chittagong belt. Along that belt, deaths could be 150 thousands and 100 billion over US damage. So this is the compiled from the different sources. Priya did it from her. She's a geology background student. Our assistant Priya doing the masters in Dhaka University now. So come to the now 2025 nursing the earthquake happened 1st November 2025, and central Bangladesh, North India, about 13 to 14 kilometers from Dhaka at a depth of approximately 10 kilometers. Dead 10 people died, injuries hundreds, infrastructure buildings swayed and cracked in Dhaka nearly districts. I remember many in Narayanganj as well, from the friends and family living there. Aftershock, additional mild tremors. Importantly, at that time, too many aftershock happened, and there was a panic. I heard people, as you all know, people was leaving Dhaka at that time because there was too much rumors. There could be earthquake happening in 10 days, 15 days. There was too many things. It's a very bad. Any after disaster, 10, 15 days we've been talking about this and forget. Now we forget about this. So, but the disaster does not work like that way. It's hidden. It can happen anytime. So this is the ground impact come from the nursing the earthquake. The people rush out from home during the nursing the 2025 nursing the earthquake, and the workplace people was panic when checking began. Many areas reported cracks in building and walls, collapse of the railings and non-structural elements. What the expert analysis and risk warnings? Expert described this event as a warning sign for future stronger earthquake. This is the warning sign, to be honest. That was I see the all geoscientists, the civil engineers, top civil engineer in the regions, they are warning. It occurred very close to Dhaka, where the risk of structural damage is high. So the magnitude was moderate. The damage was significant because many buildings are unplanned and poorly constructed. That's very important. We have a very poor construction. Old Dhaka and some other old Dhaka areas is really the construction is very high, and the building is so much congested, no space with one another. It's very easy to break down during the shaking with one and another, collapsing. Some studies found that if a large earthquake 6.6 to 7 hits, many buildings in Dhaka could collapse, increasing casualties and the infrastructure failure. So some pictures here, what we learned from the nursing the earthquake, preparedness matter. Even moderate quake can cause serious impact in dense cities with weak building structures. Building safety, there is a need to enforce building codes and retrofit older structure to withstand seismic forces. Some areas of the, I remember after Rana Plaza, through the, I have worked some, project at that time. Many garments industry, they did the retrofitting because it was compliance. In Bangladesh is really important. Whenever donor or international pressure for something, then we maintain, because agreement at that time with the European buyers and the American buyers was really hard. They said they exit if they don't maintain the safety standard, building and workplace safety. That times in some building industry, garments industry improved, but widely in Dhaka, no improvement of the retrofitting. Public awareness, educating people about safety during earthquakes, such as drop, cover, and hold. Drop, cover, and hold is a important things in many universities. Many in Japan, if you talk school student from the KG one, they know the drop, cover, hold. They practice twice in a month, and they know how to live. And in many earthquake, moderate, small, medium earthquake, nothing happened there because they have a preparedness and public really aware. Now, coming to the BNBC, we have to know about when we talk about the earthquake preparedness, we should refer something with the Bangladesh National Building Code Frameworks. We talk about the number one reasons for earthquake preparedness matters in Bangladesh. As we discussed, we have named many, earthquake occur in the region in the first. BNBC 2018, the latest one, Earthquake Safety Frameworks, official building safety code of Bangladesh, developed by the Housing and Building Research Institutes. This is actually mandatory, although they're not very much clearly, and closely maintained. If you want to go more about the earthquake, it's a very big books. We try to compile which section is important. For structural design, volume 3, fire protection and life safety, evacuation and exit kind of things, volume 2, and volume 6 is the construction practice and the quality controls. So what the key objectives of the BNBC earthquake preparedness? To reduce building collapse, to minimize loss of life, to ensure safe evacuation during earthquake. Furthermore, with the BNBC preparedness frameworks is the seismic zoning, zone 2 Dhaka, moderate zone, zone 3 Sylhet and Chattogram. Building must be designed using zone-specific seismic forces. And structural safety, you all engineer people here, they know more than me, reinforcing concrete buildings and the masonry buildings. Foundation and soil safety guidelines, life safety and evacuations under the BNBC. It's coming, as I said before, but volume 2. Adequate stair with multiple emergency exit, clear signage and emergency lighting. It's very weird when I go to check with my project team in 2018, garments and other big building. Stair is blocked. The cartoon, chair, this thing, that thing. Even sometimes exit gate is nobody knows when it opened. No lock, you know. So it's exit gate never used. It's locked. It was not working. So I don't know. 7 8 years, anything improved there? I don't believe there is any project anybody. At that time, I did some national seminar with some other expert in Dhaka and university and Kuwait. Bangladesh reality. Many buildings built before BNBC enforcement is very important. All we agreed that it's not easy job to enforce the BNBC because many building is built before BNBC first volume even. Poor compliance and informal constructions. Our building actually not done many cases is by engineer. People has the land, they develop it. High collapse risks during the 7 more magnitude earthquake. So this is the earthquake preparedness. We talk about the BNBC. This is the preparedness. We have different stakeholder by the fire service and civil defense, FSCD. So they give the specific guideline for the building assets and safety, evacuation and life safety, and search and rescue preparedness, and emergency equipment readiness, drill and exercise training, drop, cover, hold, and how quickly. I think BNB, FSCD, fire service and civil defense, do the drill in the large, supermarket in Dhaka and major cities in city areas. So I'm coming to the future insights and the recommendations. Bangladesh actually has a lots of historical earthquake which caused damage in our regions. In southeast area, particularly in Chittagong and the coastal belt of the southeast area, really is high risk from the 1762 earthquake, like of earthquake. And because it's 250, 70 years already, there is a seismic gap, if you see, I showed in the map. However, the unconsolidated land of Bengal data and the coast of the region is like a compact because our land in the coast, is very much uncompacted, loose. Any big earthquake could make them submerged to the sea. And clearly, we can say Bangladesh region may not be affected by a big tsunami like the hurricane 1991 flooding from the Kunijor, but we can definitely say the local tsunami as the way land subside and the water coming from the sea, from the breakdown of the our embankment and the water coming, and because we have a dense population, is really important. So we cannot ignore the impact by the earthquake generated local tsunami. What we can do? Implement the BNBC in full scale with frequent monitoring, evaluation, and learning, and retrofitting as much as the existing buildings. And finally, not the list, our community, our school, universities, our all stakeholder, I believe even if you see what to do during earthquake, our major Bangladesh Secretariat and other major public building not have much awareness. So we cannot, blame, but we only can do the more awareness educations. But this is not a profitable business. I see, to my experience in last 20 years, I didn't find many engineers even coming to the discipline, because sometimes people come to the discipline, they make their job, they need to survive, then they make the things happen better. But not many people, in a earthquake science, in design science of the building and things, talking about this kind of things. Like we have, if you list, we can find in a year 100 500 international paper and things like that on a hurricane. But hurricane is not a very alarming. I'm talking everywhere, I should tell more here. Gundijar's tropical cyclone is not a big problem now. We learn about it, and we have a mechanism for the early warning and things like that. Same floods, except Feni flood last year or before, was a little bit different from that because it's coming from the upstream through other political mechanism, different. But normally, normal flood, river flood, people used to live with that. But earthquake, even flood, you can see 100 paper is going on. But if you talk about the earthquake, whenever shaking, people shake. Whenever it goes, people calm, everything calm. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity. If you have anybody have any questions, thank you for listening me. Have any question about any aspect of my presentations, and please do so. We are available to contact even after the presentations for networking, for any collaboration anybody want to do with us. We most welcome. Disaster and Development Organization, we're working on the soil drowning prevention, we're working on the road accidents, we're working on the earthquake, we're working on the tropical cyclone as well, including waterlogging in Chittagong. So we welcome, it's not only the presenting something, we want to hear from you, we want to collaborate with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Alam, for that insightful and comprehensive presentation.
We try to cover everything. But,
we will now proceed to question and answer session, which will continue for approximately 30 minutes. Participants are kindly request to submit their question via check box. I will moderate and present a selected question to our speaker. And participant can always raise your hand and ask your question. Thank you.
Thank you. Priya, you also here. If any question you want to answer, please do so. Priya, yes. Can you hear me?
Sajid Hossain, Mr. Sajid Hossain raised his hand. Please ask your question, Sajid Hossain.
Well, first of all, thank you very much, the valuable speaker today. Undoubtedly, the area is very, very essential to our national or regional life. I have a question, although not related to this subject, but I am also a student of Maritime Safety Administration. Therefore, I studied safety, and particularly in Bangladesh. In today's presentation, it has already, in the lastly also, he mentioned about the lack of awareness. My lifelong question, that knowing the risk, potential risk, it is extremely difficult to make the people in the center aware that this might happen. As if we, in our life, we have accepted the risk will be there, risk will come, but nothing will happen to me. So my question is difficult to understand and say, but anyway, how to increase the sense of the safety or knowing about risk or risk-based situation. We have to do it in any way. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Can I start? Okay. I know you talk about the theory, even knowing things, people not thousands study on that, agreeing that sometimes even people know everything, they're not reacting. What are you saying? I understand, but I don't care. I don't act on it. So I perceive risks, but I don't cognize it. Cognize is a term we use. You understand, you act, cognition. But in most cases, not like that way. But in my emergency management knowledge, in emergency management communications theory, saying sometimes it happens if you can heighten risks, who is risks you want to heighten in the community, it can work better. So heightening the risks, maybe how you heighten the risks, sensitize the risks, maybe movies, because you cannot drill the earthquake happening every day. Earthquake, happening. Say, for example, we cannot practically wait to happen the disaster. So that's why you see that now people moving to the movies, apps. There is lots of apps to sensitize people about the disasters and safety. So that is going on. That direction is going on. And like I said before, many times, historical earthquake. Not many people knows, because it's not a profitable business. It's not something making money. So nobody, not a community level. This is not something I find in Bangladesh. Whenever I try to do this kind of things, I give you drowning is a big example. In Bangladesh, 20,000 child drive per year. People don't care it. It's from the negligence. It's not a disease. It's not a disaster from the tsunami or flooding. It's everyday occurrence. But we are working on that. Risk in people's mind is very low. So that's why maybe we have to say courtyard meeting. Because you say broadly safety. Maybe for drowning we have to do the utan boitok. We do the movie in the area. Some little bit, very little bit work by done one or two research organizations doing some movie, courtyard meetings, and keeping people child in the child care in the village level. So there is a specific for a specific hazard, maybe to sensitize that we have to take more live experiences through the now social media. We can use it. Cannot say social media is we found very effective to generate, to hide the I believe if even not full, give partially of your answer. As I said, that debate will be always on theoretically, but still we have to, in a acceptable level, we have to keep working, whatever the acceptable level in a community settings, in a hazard settings. Thank you.
Yeah, Dr. Edris, I just want to tell about Dr. Sajid, who raised a question. The Dr. Sajid is one of the leading experts in marine engineering, and he recently published one book, Technological Brilliance of Marine Engineering. And it was published in March 29, and within a period of time, there's a lot of response, a lot of downloads and views.
No, I understand his theoretical question. That's what I'm saying. That's that very strong theory. What is talking about on the strong theory?
Yeah, I just want to introduce his year.
Yeah, thank you.
Now we can go for the next question. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Jalal Ahmed. You raised your hand. Please ask your question. Mr. Jalal Ahmed.
Thank you, Dr. Edris, for your insightful presentation. And also, I would like to thank Reza for letting me know for this session today. Actually, I was just would like to add two things. It's not exactly a question like the BNBC, which was first drafted in 1993 through the HBRI, but with the help of the professional institutes. But it got formally, although in other countries it is not gazetted, but in most of the countries, but in Bangladesh it is gazetted, and it was gazetted in 2006. And again, the revision was started in 2013, and it was gazetted in 2020. So the reason I'm raising this is because the building code should be a dynamic thing, and because all over the world, this building industry is progressing very fast, and there are constant developments going on. So it has to be like every year there has to be some revisions. So this could help also in terms of like earthquake issues, because I was somehow involved with the urban residence project, Dr. Idris Penno at the Raju. It was there. Later on they kind of surveyed some of the. Sorry.
Did you say Rajiv Shaw? The one is the recent urban resident project?
Raju ERP project. Yeah, Raju ERP project. So, I mean, they identified some of the buildings which were constructed in late 60s, 1960s, and 70s. And they said some kind of retrofitting, which was kind of very, I would say, suggested retrofitting, but they were actually, it is almost you have to rebuild the building. So, I mean, it was not even practical. And another thing is that, I mean, you rightfully mentioned about the Rana Plaza collapse. After that, I mean, we saw that the Accord and Alliance compliance issues in terms of earthquake resiliency and fire safety and health and safety issues and things like that. So that has helped in the ready-made garment sector. After that, most of the buildings are compliant with BNBC, also international laws. But we always wait for some disaster to happen. So, I mean, I mean, God forbid, if there is any, I mean, devastating earthquake, we may, I mean, rise and we may be awakened that we have to do something. But as everybody is mentioning, that the awareness generation is a very important thing. So instead of only, I mean, discussing these things among the experts, it is important to sensitize the general people, because they will put pressure, although most of them would understand these things. But if you can raise an awareness or a fear among them, they will pressurize the professionals involved in the building industry, building sector to be, they will be asking whether it is earthquake proof or can it sustain 7 magnitude earthquake or things like that. So that is also very important to me. I mean, although I haven't worked in the earthquake issues, I mean, in public sector as much, because I worked mainly in the riverbank erosion affected communities, with riverbank erosion affected communities, and also with coastal areas, cyclone resilient building projects and climate resilient building projects. Those are different, but earthquake is totally different. It is, you can't predict, and it is very, I mean, if it occurs, it is devastating. That's it. Thank you so much, Dr. Edris, and for your presentation.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to see that you have knowledge in the discipline. Actually, from the even recent, nearly 40 years back to even new project happening, urban residents, you are aware of the discipline moving how. If you would like to communicate with us and work together for anything, my email is given here. You can take
I
note.
will.
And
thank you. Thank you so much.
I would welcome the collaboration. The reason actually we're talking here in the presentation is also coming similar mind people to work together. As you see, last 20 years, actually, I am moving also in abroad in UK, Australia, and then here. So I'm still working on Bangladesh context. I try to keep my research wherever I am working in Bangladesh.
Very good.
To do that, even I established a community-based organization that is now an NGO in Bangladesh. So disaster and development organization. We're trying to do many things with my little effort, little knowledge, limited knowledge. So if people like you come forward, we can be an advisor or a big take another position, and we can do something together. The purpose is actually, if anybody want to join with us, more welcome. We work together in a team. Let's see. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I will be in touch with you. Take care. I have to leave. If you may excuse me. Thank you. And you're welcome.
Thank you. Dr. Tanvir Shams Qureshi is here. Dr. Tanvir Shams Qureshi, we're very pleased to see you in here in this platform. Here?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Glad to be here, and Very nice presentation, Dr. Alam. It was a pleasure to see your presentation and hearing the nice questions as well. Very pleasing, particularly to see the history of 270 years, starting from 1762. I wasn't aware of that kind of background that we had. So my question is actually twofold. So starting with the first fold is there has been some mini earthquakes, series of mini earthquakes has been recently experienced in last 5 years in Sylhet. For example, in 2022, there has been 20 earthquakes in the magnitude of 2 to 4 were experienced in Sylhet, like in a period of time. And so as in 2021, like, so what that is causing those mini earthquakes? They are not like high magnitudes, but they are these are dissipating. Something is happening in a short period of time. What is causing that? And the second question is that as you have a big history, at least you mentioned you have a history of 80 earthquakes, and you have been analyzing the data. And I'm very pleased to see that you have drawn a map as well of hazard in terms of the districts that we have in Bangladesh. Is there any possibilities to develop any sort of prediction trend, like, when could what happen, or are we still a bit far from that?
Thank you very much. Thank you for your nice questions. Priya, do you want to answer the first questions from the geology science perspective? Priya, are you here? Why too many little earthquake in Sylhet? Priya? I think maybe in Bangladesh, maybe some problem anyway. So regarding the earthquake, because in Sylhet in Bangladesh, this is the #1 district, more earthquake prone. In a seismic risk map, or zoning map, Sylhet is the one, because of the Sylhet is close to the many fault areas. #1, this is the one region I could say. #2, in case of I find in many other countries, small shaking, little earthquakes sometimes related to the wealth. There is a mining or oil happening in the region, but Sylhet is the one in Bangladesh, mining and oil. So that could also make something being more. That's what, because I'm a human geographer, I should give something human fault as well.
Okay.
#2, regarding your questions about the predictions, earthquake science has been Bangladesh. If you see, I heard some university geology department name nobody heard ever. If you before during the nursing the earthquake, we have some discipline in every major public university discipline we know, but we have geology discipline in some other country university except Dhaka University. Nobody heard ever. We're not working too much on this because, as I said before, not much career or something like that, because it's neglected disaster. Earthquake is one of the neglected disaster because recurrence interval high, not seeing the memory. We are very different nations. Everything we have short time, see, become excited, and then leave. So prediction things happening from US, come to the real point. US universities, USGS is very high. I heard they can give the earthquake and predictions 20 seconds, 15 seconds, something like that. I was US in last year. Some people are still trying the hypothesis they're presenting, but the infrastructure they have, the laboratory, taking the earthquake source and putting this to the community level, they have the mechanism. So whatever still they got in US is not commercially spread it, because there's actually even research that I asked these same questions. Little bit not inclined to talk about this because they're not confident. It's a testing period, and the US as a level of the technology and the communication capacity. So we have to hope for best. for that?
Yeah. The reason I asked, because one of my recent colleagues, I'm just mentioning, I'm based in Canada, Toronto at this moment. And I have met one colleague in University of California, San Francisco. You know, that zone of the California is highly earthquake happening zone as well, like in what we experienced in Bangladesh. And then there is a team working on this because of the fact that now we can do some machine learning studies. Earthquake is a bit complex to understand why that is happening and how, and a lot of things. Our understanding is developing rapidly, but this is still a sensitive because no one can predict when earthquake could happen. But they started a program that you are also aware of it. Maybe perhaps there are some academic teams you could explore in University of California, San Francisco. And if I found anyone, I'll communicate that with my colleague and friend, Mridul Hasan. And then maybe you can start a collaboration on that front, because you have they have an issue of collecting data. You have done the very good hard work that you have, you say 80 earthquake data. So when you have a lot of data, that is, and the cause of why the earthquake has happened, you explained the 1762 earthquake. It was amazing. It's so many years ago, and when that location so when you know the cause of the earthquakes that is happening, and then you can have all this stressor on this machine learning platform, then maybe something could be possible. I don't know exactly what they're doing. It's not my field as well. I'm a material scientist, but I think if you can link with those team in the University of California, San Francisco, UC San Francisco, that could be something very interesting for Bangladesh could be happening.
No, thank you. I take it, to be honest, when we discuss, as you see, the brainstorming, make new things. In our case, to be honest, this is 1762 was a case study in my PhD at the University of New South Wales, Sydney, Australia. We didn't make it commercialized. We didn't do lots in the, even it's in the paper, in a scientific paper, in a journal, but I even didn't make this kind of as a machine learning or some audio visual. We should do also not only science, we also do this from this data. We should make commercial product, training things,
yes.
Sensitizing this.
I do agree with you. We should make something commercial, and I think you should make it publications as well. So that will be
publication is available. Publication is available in the Natural Hazard Journal. It's a Q1 high impacting journal. Publication is available. If you see, right, 1762 earthquake in Bangladesh, in Chittagong, it will come. I have made lots of publication in a big journal, all the top journal, but that's the publication, as I said, because we are all moving for the profession and this thing that is happening in our life. So I extended. I'm trying to make it community based. As you see, I also lead and founded Disaster and Development Organization, which is an NGO now. We can collaborate with them, with the community, make some product, I would welcome if you also join. It's something, I do all of this as a voluntary. I am now in a military university. I don't need to do any research, any publications. I don't need any, but I'm doing it because I love to do that. What's the use of my time and energy and expertise,
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for taking my questions and your time of presentations. I leave the next person to join and ask questions. Thank you so much, Mridul Hasan, for inviting me as well. Pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you, dear friend. Actually, Tanvi Shams Qureshi is one of my closest friend from our varsity, and we were thesis partner in undergraduate thesis. Okay. Next question is Shah Zulfikar Haider. Mr. Zulfikar Haider, please ask your question. Mr. Zulfikar Haider. Okay, maybe he is not available right. Mr. Anis.
Thank you for wonderful presentation. This is very helpful for us. I completed my MSc from Shahjalan environment. I lot of things learned from the disaster management, and I worked as a fire safety engineer when Rana Plaza destroy many of life. I have lot of question here in Dhaka city when earthquake is occur in future. Very difficult to us to recover this one. I have to question to you, how can we do to how can we do from free minimize our losses of life and our resource? Give me the answer. I want to learn from you.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
This is really
This is really a vital question
because
search
and
and rescue in Dhaka
will be very
will
challenging.
be very challenging.
Very challenging because newly made a metro rail. This is very over our road. How can we minimize this one? This metro rail is built by periphery of the city of Dhaka. This were very good for us, but this is
even what I understand
that search rescue machine in Dhaka is very limited.
yes.
I went to 2018-19. I was invited several times to see how the search and rescue, even emergency medicine, what are you talking about, the search, rescue and emergency medicine, how they developed in China following 2008 Wenchuan earthquake. So they have make a big institutions of disaster management and reconstructions where simulation 100
simulation lab.
Similarly, they
have a
vocational programs, the training program for the government and the professional personnel and also other people. In Dhaka is lacking. To be honest, at that time I was trying to write something about that visit and need of the emergency medicine specific program in Bangladesh. Unfortunately, there is nothing. Our very much pathetic to say that we have many disaster management program in Bangladesh. Mostly, everybody want to talk about cyclone, climate change, floods. Nobody want to go a little bit beyond, and not many things.
For the more important issue.
And Sylhet also, this is a problem. And Sylhet, your sound is unmute. Please unmute your.
Mr. Edris, you are muted. Please unmute first. Mr. Edris, we cannot hear you. Maybe you are muted.
Okay, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I was talking to you.
What's happening?
I also add here the Sylhet also this problem. And many structural building in Dhaka, they are fifth floor, they are at one floor or two floor also. This is many problem here. And Sylhet also a very structural problem. When I live here and I see and many problems talk to our structural engineer and the professor is Shahjalan University. There are many problem here. Deployment engineer is build many structural high-rise building. There is so problem here.
Okay. We can move to the next question. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your insight.
Mr. Shah Zulfikar Haider, can you hear me? Hear us? Okay, maybe Mr. Zulfikar Haider is not available. If anyone wants to ask question, please ask your question to our keynote speaker.
Assalamu alaikum, sir. I am Muhammad Shahadat Hussain. Thank you for your presentation. I have a question that you said about the retrofitting of the buildings. So in this situation, we don't have any retrofitting code like ASC 41 of America. So a retrofitting code is required. Moreover, we design structures for, it is called prescriptive design actually, because performance-based engineering is not started yet in our country. But in some situations, there are very important structures that need to be assessed or analyzed or designed with more precaution or more safety factors. So I think performance-based engineering can help us. Moreover, I have another problem with the background study of our BNBC regarding the seismic loading. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. I agree with you. The retrofitting is during the 2025 nursing the earthquake, it's coming in the agenda, retrofitting. Honestly speaking, always this kind of things, discussion and the list and everything comes when happen some things. I see even that at that time the chief advisor called those expert people and discuss what to do. Then I don't know how much it goes, to be honest. And I am not an engineer and I am not a professionally work with a consultancy and things for the earthquake retrofitting or that discipline. I am more social scientist. I work with the Rana Plaza, following Rana Plaza collapse, about the compliance, the health safety, evacuation kind of things, and what happened, that kind of things. If you can, I mean, the reason of discussions to these presentations, I'm learning from you. If you can write something wherever you are, whatever doing, sometimes if you can write in a local newspaper, policy making, and if you can do something like presentations about what are you thinking, what's the problems, is better. And if you come to us from our organization, we are happy to also maybe this group cannot accommodate all presentations, maybe they can, but we are also happy to, as a professional organization, to accommodate your thoughts in a presentations, and we can jointly write something in the newspaper. I have some contact with the administration and the political dimension there. We can communicate there. I always wish to do this kind of things, but as you see, we are professional people. We have family things, that this thing, that things make us slow down, because we're not Bangladesh. This retrofitting or other problem, we're not doing our livelihood on that. Sometimes we need people doing livelihood on these kind of things. Sometimes people criticize, but that's not the right way, because I'm outside, I cannot be everything. So people do the livelihood, they will be more active, they'll be more desired to do something. Thank you.
Dr. Edris, and this is very, very excellent and a very historical presentation. Really, we enjoyed and learned. But we have one thing to know. This our government entities or other organization who is related to the disaster management. If really something happened with the high magnitude earthquake in Bangladesh, how actually we have, how much level and how much we prepared, and not, if it is not at the up-to-date level, then what we can do at the moment, what preparation or what suggestion or what activity at least we can do.
Thank you very much. This is kind of political questions. To be honest, how much the government always in everywhere in the world, they always hide. If you see, even sometimes people, big disaster happen, if government can hide, they always hide. It's not in Bangladesh. to my understanding of the discipline, everywhere they try to it. And the things happening even in the region now. Some countries always hiding, always hide. So that's why the dialogue. Sometimes we need the pressure group. We need the kind of BAPA is doing more environment. They on the kind of they do the water bodies, pollution kind of things. But earthquake, we don't have any pressure group, to be honest. I didn't see any strong pressure group. And sometimes professional coming only from engineering background is also bad, because engineer is not a politically sometimes not influential. It should come from the major public universities like the Dhaka universities. But Dhaka universities last 20 years, they have institutions and department on disaster management. As I said before, everybody do the perception study, perception, not a real kind of improvements. I didn't see that at least. Actually, to my knowledge, I talked many of them and I have contact with them. But this kind of things, it should be coming to the national, daily stir. Sometimes Prathamaro, they always do this round table. The prepared, how much we prepared actually. This is a big questions. Should come from the government side, honestly speaking. Thank you. Sure, for us.
Engineer Mridul, there is some questions in chat box, I believe.
Okay.
Mridul, Hasan, sir, can you take the question and tell me, or I can see the questions?
C4 training ask a question: is there any research to estimate the cost of retrofittation of the structure in Dhaka?
I remember something from the oral interview of Professor Mehdi Ahmed Ansari, one of the person work on the earthquake, leading earthquake, kind of professional. It depends on the building, but what he was talking about, not the number, retrofitting can be cost effective in a way, because if it is damaged and cost date of life, what we invest as a money could be more effective, several times effective than what we lose if we don't do that retrofitting.
Okay, thank you. Another question from Anand R. Khan. As a architecture student, masters in architecture with limited experience in structural analysis, how can I develop a thesis on earthquake vulnerability in Dhaka that goes beyond beyond perception survey and instead offers a meaningful contribution through design, special analysis or awareness strategies?
It's a very good
mainly question. I think he want to know about the research methodology, how he can contribute to earthquake resistant structure.
Okay, I got his point, and thank you very much. We have a team now. I have a team. I have an earthquake team. In my group. I would better, because we need a written and the proposal and things like that. I would better connect him with our team who can be collaborating with him, mentoring or co-writing. So it is possible, and I see what you mean. You want to go beyond the perceptions, so maybe building density analysis and the building also condition analysis, which we have some study already, some work done by the BEAWorld and the government. We cannot say there is nothing. There is some study done. We have some background. Now we need to know which area they have done. Then we need to get data from the existing database or whatever BEAWorld or government has. We have to know what they're doing, what they have. Then we can extend your questions and the methodology. If you communicate with us, I will possibly also can connect you with our team from the Dhaka University. We have some people working on geology background in our team.
Thank you very much. Ilyas Rahman want to know about the liquefaction, why liquefaction is critical in Dhaka and Norsindi, and the determining process of liquefaction.
Liquefaction is, again, it's a technical questions. I should not be say I'm fully confident, but because I'm a geographer and sociologist, I'm an emergency management person. But I understood this is something because of the Bengal Delta and the uncompact soil in the regions. So that's why liquefactions. If you go dig in the regions, you see the water very close to the few meters. That's why liquefaction in the regions, in Dhaka and not only in Narsindi, in similar delta region is important. And I see some people with the physical science background, they do it. Again, if you want to more, we have to connect with you, the team who do this kind of geology stuff. Thank you.
Thank you. I can add some point about liquefaction. Actually, liquefaction actually fully geotechnical engineering involved terminologies. That's why who want to know about more about liquefaction and how it occurs and how pore water pressure develops and what type of soil mostly affected by the liquefaction during earthquake or after earthquake. You can study in geotechnical engineering and mostly soil dynamics. So you can, if you are interested, then you extend your interest in soil mechanics and soil dynamics. You can get every research papers there. Thank you.
Mridul bhai, I have another supplementary question, if you allow.
Yes, please.
Yes, actually, I have one question to Dr. Edris. This science and technology, as we know, it is very advanced. But for the earthquake, we cannot say prediction of the earthquake. Means it earlier we can make aware or prediction. And what is the actually difficulties? Why so far science cannot predict? Yes, earthquake is coming or like this.
Thank you very much. I think we discussed this point before with a question from a Canadian colleague.
Maybe I maybe miss. Okay.
Yeah. We have a Canadian colleague. Earthquake science is still evolving. This means it's still developing. There is as you see, many disaster we can predict. But in some US and some Chinese universities doing lots of research to predict earthquake, to give the early warning. To my understanding, there is no established framework yet. Is still not proven. But in some cases in US, in some earthquakes, they could predict 20 seconds before. So 20 seconds is sometimes they said, I learned this from the one presentations I attended last year in Colorado, in Denver, from the US measured earth science group. They're saying 20 seconds before they can send a signal to the school or community. So 20 seconds sometimes, if it's a very high level of the preparedness need from the, they have a strong, that level of the equipments to sensor the earthquake and sending to the emergency to the community center, like one of the community center, they say school, because more school-based program to award the kids to get out if possible 20 seconds. And I was trying to understand more. To be honest, I did not find there much confidence talking about this. They said it is still developing, something like that. They say that whatever they could do, at least in US, might not be possible to think about, like when you see my color and see I'm from Bangladesh, to something replicate in Bangladesh kind of, So it's still discipline, developing. But in our country and some other areas, the geologist and seismologist can find where the energy is gaining, where the shaking could happen. That kind of things, as in my presentation, I show 3 area in adjacent Bangladesh where the energy is gaining now, like the Dauki fault area in the Chattogram, Arakan zone, and the Andaman Nicobar area, where the major fault zone. Unfortunately, I am not a geoscientist or seismologist, so whatever I learned from the people's recently and from my understanding, I'm explaining. This discipline is still, not fully developed in terms of the predictions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. If anyone have a question out of chat box, actually we took major questions from chat box. If anyone have a question, please raise your hand.
Shahjul Pikar.
Mr. Sam Ahmed, I think you raised your hand. Please ask your question.
Assalamu alaikum. Whether I should say, like Dr. Idris, that I'm not an expert on this particular issue, but from my own interest, because I have passed.
Mr. Sam, can you speak louder?
Yes. Can you hear me right now?
Not so much clear.
Right now?
Okay. Yes, I think it is now understandable. Please.
Yes, the flip of the laptop was closed. That's why. I was enjoying the this session on a big screen. I'm sorry. Whether I should say, like Mr. Idris, Dr. Idris, that I'm not an expert on this particular issue, but from my working area and experience, I have already questioned one thing on in the chat box. Have you seen my question?
Yeah, I can see your question. Can you summarize your question?
Yes, I can summarize in one line. From my experience, I have seen that retrofitting is a matter of huge money. A lot of money. So, what else can be the solution for these buildings we have in Bangladesh? All are sick building, all are sick buildings. So is there any protocol or any SOP or something like that is being developed in other country or Bangladesh? Do you have any information on this issue? Am I clear?
No, thank you. I got it. Thank you very much. Yeah, this is the question.
Does it make any sense to you, what I asked you?
Yeah, no, I understand.
Yes, please.
As I said, I am not a retrofitting or the geotechnicians, even not a civil engineer who does
Same as me.
Yeah, no, I can tell you, if I trust my colleague, again, I have to, unfortunately, I have to quote the name of some people. I shouldn't actually. The people, those say they are expert in the discipline as a technically, we're not claiming, but those people are technically claim that they are expert. I see they are talking about retrofitting. And as you hear from the other senior people in the group, they also said Accord, Alliance, following Rana Plaza, they did lots of retrofitting in the garments industry. And that was accepted by the, compliance green certificate. Tick, they got the, tick box.
Sorry to interrupt you. I was one of the member of those different committees. So as I said, it's a matter of huge money. So I asked you directly that whether there is any protocol or any research or anything is being developed to bypass this retrofitting? That's my question.
No,
Because
I
it's a
did not.
matter of
Sorry,
money.
that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did not see that because I see. That's what I did not see that what you're saying, but I see still the people, those expert people, they are selling, they are suggesting retrofitting. I did not see something what you said. No, I didn't. I'm not aware. I didn't see, because as you see, I'm aware. I'm try to anything's come new in this discipline. I try to read at least. Even I'm overseas long years, but I still see try, and I didn't see the measure paper, scientific paper. I see appraising, praising retrofitting. I didn't see any other protocol as SOP, honestly speaking.
Okay, thank you. That was my question.
No.
Actually, in the point of structural engineering and retrofitting expert, I want to add something because from EQMS we have perform detailed engineering assessment over thousands of buildings, and we have retrofitted almost 500 building in Bangladesh. So that's a huge number. Actually, first thing is assessment is required. If something different you find your building during earthquake or after earthquake, you need to assess first. In generally, what happened in recent earthquake, I saw many people was first of all they were very much intention that what happened in their building, and after that they most of the case they didn't assess their building. What they did, they bring some workers and just repaired that part. So that is very unfortunate for us, because actually if any difference in found in your building, something like a crack or there may be some settlement issue, you have to first assess the building. Some destructive test is there, some non-destructive test also there. We have already developed a theory how just performing a non-destructive test you can say your building is safe or not. So the technology is there. So after assessing your building, it can be calculated that your building is in which section, maybe green or orange or red. So it is after assessing, if your building is green, then you are free, so no issue. If your building is in yellow or orange section, you need to perform a very short type of retrofitting that will not very costly. And if you found your building is in red category, you can you have to perform some retrofitting there. Retrofitting is not always costly. It depends on your building, which condition your building in. So it is important. So always retrofitting is not very costly or very hassle task. So it is you have to first assess your building. Thank you.
Thank you. I know. Actually, I'm a lucky man. I had to go through all these things, whatever you said. But my question is that still there is no, bikolpo in Bengali, bikolpo substitute of this retrofitting. That's my concern, actually.
No, so sometimes if retrofitting is not required, then you can reduce some. Actually, the retrofitting, there are so many ways or so many methods in retrofitting.
Yes, I have said too many factories in Bangladesh in RMZ sector by reducing the load. Although I am not a structural engineer, although I am not a civil engineer, but I was the leader of this assessment team. So I had to know everything, how this building can be saved. So that's the thing, but still we are struggling for this thing.
Yes,
save
actually,
some money.
it's a element based and different for every building. So you cannot just make a common
Yes, too many things.
decision about that, right?
Hassan bhai, there are too many things. I'm experienced on that particular issues, but the thing that still we are struggling for a solution, good solution with less money.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Dr. Edris and
you,
Hassan bhai.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Finish. Do you have time anymore?
I think no more question for today.
Okay.
Can we close the session?
Yes, I believe so. We can close.
Okay.
It is almost 11:30 in Bangladesh. We can conclude.
Oh,
yes.
Sorry.
Almost midnight.
Yes.
Thank you everyone for your time. Thank you everyone for your time.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum. Have a good time.
Walaikum assalam. As we approach the conclusion of today's session, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to Professor Dr. Edris for sharing his valuable expertise and insights. Today's discussion has reinforced importance of strengthening disaster preparedness, enhancing resilience in built environment, and integrated scientific knowledge into planning and decision making. I would also like to thank all participants for your active engagement and thoughtful contribution. Finally, on behalf of BEAWorld, I thank you all for joining us. We look forward to your continued participation in our future events. Wishing you all a pleasant evening. Thank you very much.